Finding Meaning and Connection. Why an upper middle class, white, hetero male, that's me, needs to join the conversation about money and inclusivity by Brian Harriet. An author writes nonfiction to help their reader solve a problem. Their book promises the reader that if they read the words, consider the ideas, and do the work, they will see a change. My book, Time Freedom's reader is stuck in some way, wanting for a freer and more flexible lifestyle. I promise to help them create an achievable plan for achieving time freedom by the time they finish the book. Then, if they work the plan, my reader will become a free timer in 3 years. It's a bold promise, but I firmly believe it can be done. But here's the thing. Sometimes the reader's problem isn't the right problem to be solved. The author knows this. The reader first recognizes this upon achieving the book's promise. In the case of my book, when you achieve time freedom, you realize that time freedom alone is not enough. Yep, your call to greatness. In great nonfiction, the book's conclusion is not a summary of what was learned. Instead, as my wonderful writing coach A.J. Harper teaches, it's called a call to greatness. Now that the reader has climbed their first mountain, they can see things they couldn't see when starting the trek. With time freedom, you have space and energy to pursue what truly matters in life. I believe what truly matters to be 2 things: meaning and connection. Time freedom frees you from a high-stress, all-consuming, thankless job. Then you have time to choose what you work on. That's meaningful. And who you work with, intentionally creating connection. I've seen free timers use their newfound time to do some pretty cool things, like lobby their city's planning division to add bike lanes connecting the city's neighborhoods, traveling to poor, underserved parts of the world to provide people access to clean water, and helping high school seniors, the first in their families to apply to college, to fill out financial aid forms. I have time freedom, yet for a long time hadn't found my calling. But now I think I have. My wake-up call. I'm an upper middle class, white, hetero male. In other words, I've had a lot of advantages in life, many of which I hadn't realized. I wasn't forced to see my privilege. I didn't have to see it, but I needed to. Not until the Me Too movement in 2017 and later in 2020, when Black Lives Matter, did I take notice. I'm so thankful these movements went mainstream, because it was the knock upside the head that I needed. To my friends reading this who are not white and hetero men, you're well aware of the advantages I enjoy. Finally, as I approach 50, I am too, though I'm still learning. I'm most certainly not an expert, although it helps to be married to someone who reminds me when I say or do something stupid. Thank you, Claire. Have you ever read a book and thought, yuck, this is not for me? So have I. A lot of books in the personal achievement space irk me because they pretend everyone starts from the same place. It's your choice to be successful. No, not always. Many don't have that choice. The playing field isn't level, and pretending it is doesn't help anyone. I'm proud to say that Time Freedom is written for everyone. I've taken special care to tell stories of real-life heroines and cite examples of and research done by minorities. I'm presently seeking endorsements from a dynamically different and varied set of experts. My call to greatness. So how will I use my time freedom for good? What is meaningful and connective for me? I've decided to become more vocal, not just about time freedom, but about inclusivity and equality in money and entrepreneurship. I'm starting with TikTok and Instagram, where I'll share stories, facts, and conversations that I wish someone had shared with me years ago. I'd like to help other upper middle class white hetero males as they take the same journey I have. I will invite women and minorities into discussions about money and business ownership. A lot of people like your rich BFF, Vivian Tu, Katie Gaddy Tassin, and Tori Dunlap, and also Farnoosh Torabi. They're already doing really great work in this space, but there needs to be even more focus on this. I can uniquely speak to men who haven't yet realized the advantages they've had and the barriers that others face. They might be more open to hearing this from someone who looks like them, talks like them, and started from the same place of unrecognized privilege. In my life, I've been accused of not noticing, or worse, being oblivious. I'm not offended. Those critiques often landed because they were true. A lot of what guys like the earlier version of me say or do comes from a simple lack of awareness. For example, did you know that until 1974, banks could require a woman to have her husband co-sign a loan? 1974. This would have impacted my own mother. This isn't ancient history. It was a generation ago. Or consider the beauty tax. Women spend roughly $800 more per year on men than men on makeup, hair products, salon visits to meet societal expectations. Invested over 40 years, that's $200,000 in lost retirement savings. This is not just annoying, but a structural barrier to wealth. These are the kinds of things that deserve a spotlight. So let's do this. I'll be sharing more on TikTok and Instagram in a way that's positive, educational, and hopefully entertaining. To all the sons, boyfriends, husbands, and fathers out there, I've got you. Let's do this. I welcome your comments.